Hey guys, I'm here with another My Goodness Organics review, and this time I'm reviewing the Thai yellow chickpea curry. This is part of their vegan and vegetarian friendly range. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos or jumped on the My Goodness Organics website, you'll know that they aim to use premium ingredients in every meal. So this meal uses organic or pesticide-free vegetables and also dry ingredients. So they do want to deliver nourishing, nutritious meals to your doorstep. Now, one thing I love about this is that they do have the biodegradable cardboard packaging, and this means that you can take the lid off before you heat and remove the things like sauces, or in this case, the pickled vegetables. Now, this is what it looks like when it comes. This is a frozen meal, so I've thawed it overnight, which you need to do so before you heat, whether it's by microwave or the oven. So a little bit of organisation is required. I can't say it's the most appetizing looking meal. I'll just take the pickles out here, which is a nice addition. This is your cauliflower rice, and then obviously the chickpea curry component. So it's not that appetizing, but I'm sure once it's heated, it will look a little bit more appealing. So this meal is $17.99 and it is 400 grams. So substantially more compared to some of the other meal providers, which is great. One thing that's really interesting about this is that My Goodness Organics talk about having the macronutrient ratios of 50% fat, 30% protein, and 20% carbohydrates. And they talk about having more fat in their meals rather than carbohydrates because of the association between carbohydrates and things like obesity, blood sugar dysregulation, etc. But this is not in line with that statement or that macronutrient balance at all. So this only has about 17 grams of protein, which is not that much, but you're not having any animal products. So depending on your protein intake for the rest of the day, you may want to think about adding some tofu in here or some tempeh to just boost it a little bit. If you eat yogurt, for example, or eggs, you might want to add that in there. The carbohydrate component is 48 grams. This is mainly coming from the vegetables because they've switched the rice to a cauliflower rice, which is awesome. So, but it is 48 grams of carbohydrates, and then you have 28 grams of fat. So it's definitely not 50% fat or 30% protein, and the carbohydrates is actually reasonably high on this. So just keep that in mind. I tend not to focus on macronutrients and calories unless you're trying to maybe have some goals in terms of body transformation. But if you're looking at general health and well-being, you want to look at the quality of the ingredients and the makeup of your diet overall, rather than specifically the macronutrients in the one meal or the calories in the one meal. It is a little bit higher in calories at 489 in this 400 gram meal. This is mainly because it features coconut cream and coconut flakes and oil. So this is where the fat is pretty much coming from. But it does have some nice ingredients in terms of vegetables. You've got your broccoli, eggplant, spring onions, red capsicum, obviously some snow peas here, and as I said, some coconut flakes. So it does have a lot of flavors in there and a lot of great ingredients that are going to prove to make this quite a nutritious and delicious meal. But let's give it a taste and see what it tastes like. Okay, so I've just heated up the meal and add the pickles. This is sort of what it looks like. Still not overly appetizing, but once you give it a bit of a mix, it doesn't look too bad. It's interesting because the chickpeas seem to have maybe been blended into the sauce, or it's not quite what I can see a couple of chickpea pieces, but it appears mostly are blended in the sauce, or that there's just not very much of them. The cauliflower rice is quite chunky, so it's not really a rice consistency, it's more sort of diced, which again is probably not that bad. It would probably add a bit more texture to the meal. And then there's also these pickled veggies. So you've got some onion, maybe the red capsicum, and then also some cucumber. So that looks pretty tasty. It does smell like a yellow curry, so that's a good thing. So we'll see what it tastes like. So the Thai yellow chickpea curry definitely has those Thai flavors that we're all very fond of. It's not at all spicy, so I definitely would love to add a little bit of heat to the dish. The 2 minutes I also thought was probably not enough. It wasn't really hot enough, so I'd probably be edging towards that 3 minutes. The cauliflower rice being chunky does give a lot of texture, but if you're not really a fan of cauliflower, I think that the texture is a little bit overpowering. I loved the addition of the pickles. They've got that sweet and salty and tangy kind of flavor to them, so that's really lovely. And there's lots of nice crunchy bits of vegetables throughout there. Is it an amazing meal? No, but it is a healthy, well-balanced meal. It just lacks a little bit of real oomph about it, and I'm definitely going to go away and eat this and add a bit of chili to make it a little bit more dynamic. But it's an okay meal. I really appreciate that they're using all organic or pesticide-free ingredients. That's a bonus. There's no refined carbohydrates or refined sugars in there. They're also gluten, dairy and wheat free, and as I said, vegan and vegetarian friendly. So if you do want a meatless meal or an animal product free meal, this is definitely a good choice.